viewers, and welcome to another interesting episode of the newspaper review here on SAP TV. Cyril Aloysius is my name, and I'm saying a big thank you to you for joining me. I'm not alone, as you can see. I have Mr. Victor Sioku with me today. Sir, how do you do?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Fine. I trust you had a good night rest.
Yeah, I tried my best to. I tried.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm fine. So how have you been coping with the the fuel, hike in fuel price and all of that?
If I want to make a journey, I make sure that I hit 3 birds on 4 locations with 1 stone. So yeah, it is what it is right now. So everybody has to plan. You have to be very, very, very careful with
You don't leave your house anyhow now.
No.
They call you, please come outside. Hello, is it money matter? If it's not money matter, please leave me alone.
It is what it is, man.
I think for those of us who are, still depending on our Legacy Benz for now, maybe we have to look for a way to get the bicycle so that.
And yes, it's just unfortunate that in this side of the nation, we are not really using those solar locomotive stuffs, okay, to make our trips. Maybe it still has its challenges here.
Yes.
Just imagine you using a solar moving vehicle or even bicycle. People are even scared of using bicycle. Reason because of motorists. Okay, so that's yes, it's a pity because in a case like this, you must have been seeing people using their bikes
in a country where
their bicycles,
where people are not scared to some motorists are not scared to ride one way, and they don't even use their horns when they ride one way. They just ride not like it's a normal thing. So anyone could just be scared of getting hit. Well,
and another bigger issue is when you are using your bicycle, you might just sweat the living daylight out of your bodies. So just imagine you have an official meeting.
You're paddling for over 30 minutes or so, 40 minutes. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
And if you have bad body odor, my brother, bad business.
Yeah, you buy body spray and put in your bag now when you just. Okay. To begin today's episode, we'll be starting first by looking at this day newspaper. We have some interesting headlines in this day. This one says, CBN abolishes multiple exchange rates. Transactions now to hold on I&E window FX rates. CBN abolishes multiple exchange rates. Transactions now to hold on I&E window FX rates. Okay. And another one here says on page 42, confession of influencing cause of justice. NBA task police ICPC on interrogation. Prosecution of Senator Bokachuwa on page 42. That's on page 42 of this day newspaper. And on page 40, this one says, Bawa honors DSS invitation hours after suspension. Umar now acting EFCC chair. Bawa honors DSS invitation hours after suspension. Umar now acting EFCC chair. Okay, details of this headline here is on page 40 of this day newspaper. On page 5 now, this one says, REA Owando seal deal to boost clean energy access in Nigeria. REA Owando seal deal to boost clean energy access in Nigeria. That's on page 5 of this day. And on page 41 now, this one says, Senate resumes legislative activities, adjourned till July 4th. Senate resumes legislative activities, adjourned till July 4th. That's on page 41 of this day newspaper. I think lastly here on this day, on page 40 again, this one says subsidy removal. Petrol price war imminent as NMDPRA begins licensing of more oil importers. Vows to protect Nigerians from exploitation. Okay, details of this headline is on page 40 of this day newspaper. Okay, that's the much you can take on this day. Mr. Victor, please let me get your thoughts on Bawa being suspended by the president.
Yeah, it was a shocking news. Mind you, since the president got in there, there's always a news party. There's a breaking news, very rich
him
news
bringing down his hammer on one person or the other.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, it's Baba's turn now.
Yeah,
so.
it is. And it's a tough one.
Sorry, before you continue, let me ask. Do you think this has anything to do with the fact that before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president, Baba was actually, investigating him seriously, trying to find out exactly the source of his income and all of that. Do you think all this could be down to that?
Nothing will shock me in Nigerian politics, okay? So it might be, it might not be. These are still permutations, okay? But I want to also say this. It is also might just be that the president wants somebody that he can work with. He wants somebody fresh so that if they are investigating, let them investigate from a fresh point of view. But I'm coming.
When you say somebody he can work with, how do you mean, please?
Somebody that he feels that the past... No, that the past regime,
okay,
or the past government have maybe soiled his hands,
okay,
maybe, or that they just want fresh ideas. It could just be that. But these are still permutations, okay? But when the news came out, I was just thinking about cases that are under the burner right now, okay? And all of a sudden, the case of the former Kano governor, Ganduje, came to my mind. Remember that video that was released in 2018 where he was wearing Babarega with a contractor, where he was stuffing dollar inside his Babarega?
Okay.
Okay, and the video came out, okay, allegedly stating that he was collecting bribe for a contract. Okay, so, mind you, before now, that case, okay, was not, he was being investigated though, but he couldn't make it to the court because Ganduje was a sitting governor who had immunity.
As at that time? Okay.
But look at what Ganduje also played, a very smart game that he has played. He went to court, contesting the authenticity of that video. Okay. So he went to court challenging the owner of Daily Nigerian, okay, that video was concocted. My brother, well, let's keep it that way. But this Nigeria, but let's keep it that way. So, right now, it could also be that it is time to go to court because he is no longer with his immunity. Are you getting that? Mind you, Ganduje and Tinubu are working very closely. Could it be, this is just my own thinking, could it be that the Ganduje matter had a factor in this?
Okay.
Are you getting that? And could it also be that there are many things has happened over...
sides to this.
Yes, but I also need to make this point. Mind you, some weeks ago, the DSS and the EFCC were slugging out an office that right now I don't know who has the office.
Yes.
An office in Lagos. That the DSS did not allow the EFCC people to have entrance to gain entrance into the building. That is one. Now, when this happened, when this hammer came on Bawa, and I was like, could this now be the reason why the president did not send the EFCC against Emefiele? Knowing that Emefiele's issues lies around economic and financial crimes. Okay. And who has the duty to probe people on the case of financial crimes? It is the EFCC. Remember that it was the DSS that arrested Emefiele. And for the DSS to go after somebody, it should be about national security.
Okay.
Are you getting me? But yes, sometimes they can also make it look like economic security. They can relate economy to security, okay? And I think that was the reason why, if you notice, the government of today have been using the DSS. And mind you, even before Buhari left office, you will see that the DSS has been making moves, and it could just
Carrying
be
out
that
different arrests.
Yes, it could just be that the president coming in had more confidence in the with the DSS.
Okay.
So now, okay.
So what do you think that would do to the confidence of the police and army?
Well, the DSS, all of them are also on the big umbrella of the police. Okay. For me, the confidence for the EFCC,
but they're quite different.
They shouldn't. Now. Yes, these are more like agencies in one umbrella. For the EFCC, I don't think they should see it as something new, because in 2015, the former EFCC boss Magu was also suspended before Bawa came in. So it could be that for every new dispensation of government, a new EFCC boss comes in. Remember the case of Nuhu Ribadu. Okay. Now, we should also take note of this. For the past 8 years, personally, I think the EFCC has done their bidding. Some persons might also be like, oh, no, EFCC did not do their job. After all, they were chasing Yahoo boys, the small criminals, while we have the major guys out there that did not get.
But do you think the EFCC actually did do their job? If you're being honest right now.
I will
without
give them,
sentiment.
Yeah, without sentiment.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Thank you. You use the word sentiment because somehow we have done some stuffs with them.
Yes.
Okay. Remember that time that they auctioned those vehicles and trailers in Port Harcourt. Okay. We were live there. We covered the incident from 0 to 1, from 0 to 100. We really covered it, and it also brought me closer to the agency to see that these guys are also very, very professional let me not add the next very professional with their jobs. Okay. The auction happened. I saw it clear that you can really do an auction and the everyday Nigerian, an ordinary Nigerian can win an auction. I saw you there. Although there were also, will I say, fingers were also pointed at some persons that won a bid that some persons, just the crowd, were not happy that some persons won. They were feeling that they were
being partial or something.
Yeah, they were handpicked by the company that were in charge of the auction. But that's by the way. But for Bawa, I see him as somebody that Grace brought him to where he is, and also he put in some he put in work. Okay.
How much work did he do?
Why before becoming the EFCC chairman? Reason, I think his CVs helps him as a young man. Mind you, he's only 43 as at now. Back then in 2015, he should be around 35. That's 35. About 35 years old, becoming the boss of a big agency like the EFCC. So what happened? Beforehand, he was in charge of the Desiani Maduekwe's case. And that was top case. And he was the one in charge. He did his bidding and his work was showing.
So what are you saying?
So what I'm saying, this is more also like people like watching us out there. If you are being given any task, be it small, be it big, somebody out there is watching you. Okay? So he's a fine man. I like his person, and also I'm also more like affiliated, or will I say I have an interest in him because he had his secondary school education just in Owerri. How many Northerners? Okay, he's from Jega in Kebbi State. How many Northerners will be able to have the education? Yeah, maybe the parents were working in Imo State and he got some.
But you still haven't answered my question. I said on a scale of 1 to 10, how well?
7 over 10. I give them 7 over 10.
Are you being honest right now?
I am very honest with you.
Are you being serious right now?
I give them 7 over 10.
Why?
Yes, I know that you might also because
we have politicians who are still till tomorrow still. Come on now.
My brother.
Why was majority of the focus given to Yahoo boys in coach? Mind you,
EFCC's job is to prosecute. It is now left for the judges to do their part.
Okay.
Their work is to carry somebody, investigate the person, bring the cases to court, and prosecute.
So how many of these bourgeoisies did they prosecute?
Many, but now you say how many judgments came for them?
Many.
How many judgments?
How many?
Okay, let me use, for instance, the Senator Nwaboshi from Delta State.
And
a sitting senator was sent to jail. A sitting senator was sent to jail. Serial.
Is that the only person?
No, but you cannot send the governor to jail because the governors have immunity. And if you check from rankings, I still have my issues though,
okay.
Especially when it comes to, but you don't even also blame them. What about the case of Accountant General of the Nation that stole 300 billion? Who found it? In as much as, yes, they worked in collaboration with whistleblowers, okay? But they have their limitation. What is their limitation? Investigate and take the person to court. It is not left for the judges. And that is what we are crying out here in Nigeria.
So are we saying that bulk of the blame shouldn't be given to EFCC, but
no.
Our judiciary?
Oh, personally, I would say yes.
Okay.
But mind you also, you must be ready to defend your case, prosecute with all level of evidence beyond reasonable doubt before the judge will also go against the wish of the victim or the culprit in quotes.
All right. Sorry, before I draw the curtain on this headline, I want to ask, how professional do you think the EFCC have been over the years, especially under the rulership of Bawa himself? You know, I think there was particular footage I saw of how they broke into someone's apartment, you know, without, I think at night. I think it was around the Forces Avenue or so.
Okay.
That footage went viral. I was like, personally, I felt from what I saw, it didn't look quite professional to me. I mean, you can't just open somebody's hand and then smash the door open and what's that now?
In many cases, serious. See, this job that we are seeing from outside, because I've gone a bit closer to them, in many cases, or in most cases, they break into people's houses with court orders. And if you have a court order, you have the right to go in.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Okay.
It will be very silly and very risky of that team, of any EFCC team, to break into somebody's house without a court order.
Okay.
My brother, there are still cases there where they went against the law and they paid dearly for it. Yes.
So you're saying all the, you know, the footages that we have seen,
most go and check.
They have court orders for them.
Most of them go and check. They will have a court order.
So
sorry,
it seems
the
you have
EFCC,
something with this EFCC
see,
guy, because you're
the
defending them today.
the EFCC, oh my God. Not that wait, the EFCC, because I've gone to police stations, normal police stations, and I've seen the will I say, the unprofessionalism in them. And when you go to the EFCC, yes, they are not as white as snow. Their sins are not as so just snow white. Are you getting that? But on the scale of Nigeria, the Nigeria that you and I know, you will be shocked that they are doing their bidding, Mr. Surya. You'll be shocked, I bet you. Maybe one of these days, you can also go in there and do your investigation. You'll be shocked.
Mr. Victor, I'm still not convinced anyway,
Okay.
because if I want to look at politicians, especially governors and past governors who have left now, how they did not perform, these people need to be as in serious, because there's no way you tell me that you didn't have money to do projects. Come in, look at Abia State for instance now. Just example, Abia State now. And then look at the roads in Abia. In fact, people go to Abia and complain every day, oh my God, no way to pass. And then you've been there for over 4 years, or 8 at most, and then you still could not at least take care of the roads, at least the roads, even if you don't handle the educational sector, but at least the road, let there be roads for people to go their way.
Serial. Do you know that there are cases upon cases, okay, that the EFCC, mind you, EFCC, they are not the most powerful persons out there. You still have the federal government, you still have the judiciary, you still have the houses that are way above them. Now, let me tell you, Ojus Okalo, that you mentioned that Abia State, right? The Ojus Okalo, do you know that Ojus Okalo has been jailed? Are you aware that he has been jailed? And when he went to jail, when I mean jail, but what then happened? His matter got to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court judges freed him. Will you blame it on EFCC? Are you getting that? Tomorrow you might even have that this senator one bullshit I'm talking about has been released. Will you blame it on EFCC? You will not. There are plenty and plenty cases out there that they on their own will investigate. Look at what is happening with Ganduje matter now. They will investigate. They will take you to court. It's now left for the court to also do their bidding.
Okay. All right. Let's not sleep on this particular topic. Let's move over now to the Daily Sun for further headlines. And this one here says on page 27, Tinubu's hammer falls again, smashes EFCC chairman, orders probe of Bawa, director of operations to act. Okay, I think we just spoke about that now. And this one on page 2 says, Naira sells for 755 Naira, per dollar as FG gives banks power to decide forex rates. Anxiety over liberalization of FX markets. Okay, that's on page 2 of the Daily Sun. On page 4, this one says, gunmen abduct 7 University of Jos students. Gunmen abduct 7 University of Jos students. Okay, that's on page 4 of Daily Sun. On page 6, Tinubu signs into law data protection bill. Tinubu signs into law data protection bill. That's on page 6. And on page 26 again, this one says, reps declare Gbajabiamila's seat vacant. Reps declare Gbajabiamila's seat vacant. That's on page 26. On page 4, again, this one says, Nigeria, India agreed to block pipeline of illicit drug flow as NDLEA, NCB sign MOU. Okay, that's on page 4. And still on page 4, this one says, bandits attack mourners. Bandits attack mourners. Kidnap policeman. 2 others in Benue. That's still on page 4. And on page 28, this one says, federal government molds autonomy of public varsities as disbursement of students' loan begins September. Federal government molds autonomy for public varsities as disbursement of students' loan begins September. That's on page 28 of the Daily Sun. On page 2, this one says, Labour vows to push for immediate salary award to lessen effects of subsidy removal. Labour vows to push for immediate salary award to lessen effects of subsidy removal. That's on page 2. And on page 25, this one says, NMDPRA. Marketers meet to avert petrol scarcity. We are cash strapped, says Nogasa. That's on page 25. And on page 4 again, this one says Kwara boat mishap. Kwara boat mishap. Tinubu orders probe as death toll rises to 106. Kwara boat mishap. Tinubu orders probe as death toll rises to 106. That's on page 4. And lastly, in the Daily Sun for today, this one on page 6 says, Obi, INEC lawyers clash over summons on Yakubu. Obi, INEC lawyers clash over summons on Yakubu. That's on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. So many headlines here in the Daily Sun to talk about, but unfortunately, we have to address just one of them. Mr. Victor, please, I'd like to get your thoughts on the story here on page 2 concerning the FX market. It says Naira sells for 755 Naira per dollar as FG gives banks power to decide forex rate. How do you react to this?
So yesterday came with so much, like we were talking about everyday new news. Every day the president is doing one thing or the other, okay? Hammering on things. So yesterday, it first came with him signing the data protection bill. Then we now had the FX releasing the market, okay? Then, as we were about to go to sleep, Bawa has been suspended. So yeah, midday, we got the news about the FX news. So what is happening? What is happening? Remember back in those days, back in some weeks ago, I was talking about this foresting, liberalizing the forest market to allow market forces to determine the price of our foreign currencies against the naira. Okay, now issues deal. If this thing is not being handled well, one, inflation, sure. The way the inflation will rise. We're talking about fuel subsidy. We are not talking about this naira thing. But is it a welcome development, yes. But the question now is just like they say with fuel subsidy, is this the best time? See, this forex thing has done so much bad to the country than good. Why were we having that bank rate and the black market rate? That's the CBN and the black market rate. Reason, the government was trying all it can. Mind you, they still have a level of subsidy in this matter. Yes, we are not screaming subsidy, but they subsidized this money for Nigerians to have access to. Who are these Nigerians that are supposed to have access to this money? If you are going for a medical trip, yes, I understand. If I mention medical trip, everybody will be talking about politicians. But yeah, we have genuine Nigerians that have genuine cases that can only be treated outside this country. So what happens when you apply for this for medicals? You can access the dollar by the CBN rate, which means that the money has been subsidized for you so that you can have your medical treatment. What about education? Yes, it was subsidized so that Nigerians that are going outside the country to have their education, they can get it with in a less expensive manner. What about our manufacturers, our industries? Yes, you can buy your raw materials through this means so that you can also make profits and also manage your company. Mind you, if these companies fall apart because of the high rate of FX, Nigerians will not have jobs in a country where the unemployment rate has hit 40%. But that aside,
I think the Dangote refinery now is here to create more jobs, so let's see how that goes.
Okay, so what is going to happen now? Okay, let me first see how these interventions by the government failed. It failed because it was being, this privilege was being given to some certain class of people in the society. People that have connections, people that are highly influential. They were the ones that were given these privileges. But the common Nigerians were not getting these privileges. So what am I saying? Somebody can come like this, have access to, they can give the person access to this foreign exchange at this low rate. The person will withdraw the money, go and sell it to the black marketers, making up to 300 naira profit. And the person will go back again, buy, sell, and the person will be enriched his or herself. What about the situation whereby some Nigerians used their dubious manner to send the money outside the shores of this country in the disguise that they were buying raw materials? But they send out this money in that bank rate, and from the back, they will receive it as parallel or black market rates. These things happened, and Nigeria was just subsidizing to thieves. So this time around, yes, Tinubu has shown that he is bold. He is bold and courageous. But mind you, sometimes being bold and courageous can spoil something. Yes.
So what are you saying exactly?
So I'm saying that if it's not being managed well, okay, our economy might not just recover in. I don't want to sound so
already we are crying now.
But it might just go so. It will go
already
so
we are
so
crying
bad.
out already.
Yeah. But the economists will tell you on a normal scale, you should allow market forces to determine this price. Okay? The demand will make it go high. When the demand goes down, that means the price will normalize. But a major big issue, I could have wanted them to allow this Dangote that is looking like Messiah to every Nigerian, the Dangote refinery, because Nigeria needs to show elements of production. Just like P2B will always say, you produce. We are a consuming nation. Let's produce so that while we are producing, this money we are talking about, this naira will be flowing in.
Exactly.
We have many of them inside, meaning that the demand will reduce because what? It is everywhere. Everybody has it. Not in a situation whereby the bank itself now that they are telling them, oh yeah, let's regulate. If you go to the bank, they might not even see the money. So that's the big issue here. This is I'm not a prayer person.
So are you indirectly still campaigning for P2B right now?
Oh my God, that's not what I'm saying. No.
Are you sure?
No, that's not.
Are you not indirectly saying that Obi will have done better?
No. This is not the matter now. This is not what we are talking about now. We are talking about the issues on ground. So I'm not saying that Tinubu is better than P2B. Okay, it is until or if Peter Obi becomes president.
Okay,
then
you're
we
not
can
saying
now...
that Tinubu is better than Peter Obi.
No,
You're saying that Obi is better than Tinubu.
I'm not saying that Peter Obi is better.
Let's go on a break, Mr. Victor. We'll go on a...
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Hello and welcome back. It's still the newspaper review here on TAP TV, and we shall be moving over now to our last paper for the day, which is the Vanguard newspaper for more interesting headlines. And this one on page 5 here says, Naira depreciates to 664.4 Naira per dollar as CBN removes restrictions. Okay, details of this is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. And on page 12, we have Governor Lawal is winch hunting ex-Zamfara governor, according to Matawale's camp. That's on page 12. Okay, on page 13, Dollar video probe. Ganduje seeks a restraining injunction against EFCC. I think we also spoke about that as well. Dollar video probe. Ganduje seeks restraining injunction against EFCC. I beg your pardon, on page 13. And in the world of sports on page 37, this one says PSG slaps 200 million euros price tag on Mbappe. PSG slaps 200 million euros price tag on Mbappe.
Somebody with 1 year contract left.
That's on page 37 of the Vanguard newspaper. I think that's concerning the world of sports. And on page 13, we have Tinubu mourns victims of Kwara boat mishap. Orders probe. Tinubu mourns victims of Kwara boat mishap. Orders probe. That's on page 13 of the Vanguard. On page 9, this one says Tinubu INEC chairman evading service of witness summon, Obi tells court. INEC chairman evading service of witness summon, Obi tells court. That's on page 9 of the Vanguard. Still on page 9, we have NBA demands Senator Bukachua's arrest. NBA demands Senator Bukachua's arrest. That's on page 9. On page 8, this one says reps to Tinubu roll out fuel subsidy palliatives. Reps to Tinubu roll out fuel subsidy palliatives. That's on page 8. And on page 7, this one says Tinubu suspends EFCC boss Bawa indefinitely as president orders probe. That's on page 7. And on page 9, NUPRC battles NMDPRA over control of Bonny River Terminal. That's on page 9. And lastly, in the Vanguard for today on page 19, this one says Nigerians ship goods to Ghana for certification to enhance export value. Nigerians ship goods to Ghana for certification to enhance export value. That's on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Okay, so many headlines here in the Vanguard to talk about, but we'll be talking about ASU and ASOP now. Mr. Victor, please let me get your thoughts on this one here. It says students' loan, ASOP say no to tuition fee hike as scheme begins in September. Let me get your thoughts on this.
Yep. So, there are reactions about the student loan. ASU is not happy because there's this indication that fees will be increased. Okay. Nigeria is not known for tuition fee. Nigeria is known for school fees. So what are they trying to also do? Speculations saying that there will be a tuition fee, then there will be school fees. Where now you now have a library fee. You know, the library fee, the clinical, computer fee, book fee, and all that, they make up school fees. When you add it with tuition fee, they can even add sports fee, development, levy, all that ingredients that makes up the school fees. So they are now saying, there are speculations that this loan we are talking about, the student loan, we target only tuition. Okay? But now look at the issue here. The issue here is some schools will just hike their own, and it might just also now mean that it will be too much for the government. It might also be too much for the students at the end of the day.
So are you saying it's a bad idea, a bad move from the government?
It's not a bad move. I totally support the student loan. Yeah, some persons are also thinking that it will not work. But I still pray that I still hope if they check all the indices, okay, and tighten up, make sure that politicians are not involved with this. I'm not saying that technocrats don't steal, okay, but yes, tighten it up with the banks. Just leave it for the banks to deal with. Okay. Are you getting me? So that it can be well managed. I believe the banks will manage it properly. Whereby you need, in fact, banks will now be looking for customers. Give them an incentive, okay? Give the banks an incentive so that they will be the ones looking out for customers, telling you, you students, come and register with us for your students' loan. Okay. In that case, it will be transparent and will not have issues about backlogs. Mind you, you cannot also be applying for students' loan because of it's just government. The government is handling every issue about it. If you try it that way, a loan that you are supposed to have access within few weeks might hit 1 year getting a loan. Then what's the essence of the student loan? Like, for instance, University of River State University, where if you don't pay your fees, you will not write the exam. So imagine I've applied for loan. I'm now waiting for the loan. The loan has not dropped. I can't pay my school fees. I've been sent out of my class because I can't write the exam. So it has to work. And how will it work? They need to push it to the private sector to deal with. For ASU, I know they are also trying to protect students. They don't want this price to be hiked, the price of school fees to be hiked. But let's also face this. Can the government sustain these payments? Can this government, with what we are getting, our revenue, be able to cater for huge school fees? Please, don't get it twisted here, okay? I don't think they can. Education is expensive. We need to embrace ourselves for that. The big USA that we are talking about, their school fees is not beans, okay? The big countries that we are looking at, their school fees out there is not big. Education is highly subsidized in Nigeria, okay? And we also understand the essence of making sure that Nigerians are educated. Not just secondary school, university is also nice. Tertiary institution, going through tertiary institution is also nice because you are also developing yourself. And the more you develop yourself, the more investment you put in yourself, you reap the fruits in the future. So going forward, it's a welcome idea for me. ASU and the government should please come together. This is not about raising shoulder for each other. They should come together and make sure that this comes to work. September is very close. The government has said that by September, this will start in its full force. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you, Mr. Victor, for your thoughts on the headlines today. I really do appreciate you stopping by. And I want to say a big thank you to you, my wonderful viewers, who have been faithful to your screen up until this time. Without you, this program would be possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cyril Aloysius is my name, and I want to say that if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please, you're making a big mistake. Please click the subscribe button and do want to follow us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram, we're TAFTV_NG on Instagram, and on Facebook and Twitter, we're TAFTV. Okay, so until we come your way again next time, do enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching.